Alrighty. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
Yes,
Jennifer,
always.
welcome so much to Bold Like Her. It's so nice to reconnect with you. I don't know if you remember me from our mutual friend Jackie Zook's event.
Yes,
You were set up there. She's amazing at bringing
he's
people together.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think I spent more time talking to your husband that
you
night than
did.
you.
My free labor.
Yes, because you were busy, kind of, telling people about your story, and we're going to hear all about that. And
Yeah.
Chris, you should know he's very good at being your, like you said, your free labor, and like
Yes.
you can just tell he's proud to be a part of it.
Aw, I had stores for years and he always used to come and like work in the stores too. He would wear like the little yellow aprons that we
Get
had. He's
out of
super
here.
cute. He's really cute. Like they say like you have to have that person who's like supportive of you.
Yes,
I doubt I would do all these things that I do without that support,
he's a keeper.
He's a keeper. We just actually renewed our vows.
Aw,
I know a month ago after 28 years. Oh,
congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, he really is a keeper
He's a keeper.
for
I'm not
you.
sure about me.
You are
He
too.
re-upped. I was like, all right,
You
cool.
re-signed that lease, huh?
Wasn't sure. As I asked the question and the words were in the air, I was like, do you want to renew our vows? And I'm like, I wonder if strategically that was a good thing to say. He might say no. Um,
How beautiful is that, though? Even the thought of just doing your vows.
it's very cool. And it was so much more meaningful after 28. I can't explain it like when
No,
you're young and you do it, I don't think you understand
so
um,
right.
the impact of it. You're more worried about like, is it gonna rain? What does my dress look like? Like all the things. And here it was really just about us.
Yeah,
Um, and so yeah, we both cried and the whole bit. Like
how
it was
beautiful.
really best thing I ever did. Second to doing it the first time.
Yeah, you speak such truth there, because you're so right. When you're young and you do it and you're worried about the guest list and all these things and the weather and all that, and you really don't know what you're getting yourself
You have
into.
no
You're,
idea.
you're in love and you're doing it. And now you've been through so much together, and you can look back at that and really wrap your arms around that and around each other
Yeah.
again.
I thought it was cool too. It was this idea that like we're not here just because we signed a piece of paper 28 years ago. We're here because we want to be here with one another. And that was
Absolutely.
really important for
Yeah.
me to say to him, to thank him for, the last, I mean, we've been together over 30 years, but and he's still my best friend. And yeah, I couldn't do anything without him.
That's inspiring. It really is. It is. So he's been with you about as long as you've been in fashion, right?
Exactly. And yes, yes, the torture of it all. He knows all the fashion stories. I always say I'm like the unlikely fashionista. What you can't see on this podcast is I'm 4'10". Like I'm not your typical, like I'm not tall and the whole fashion. I'm not that at all. But I've just always loved what fashion and how it can change how you feel. Like and I know that probably is sounds like it's like overstating it, but the way you feel in your skin and the way that you look, whether it's your hair, your makeup, your clothing, all of that can just change everything for you. And that power to see, the more women I've ever worked with, like in the stores, or I used to do makeup on the side. So I would do
Oh,
makeup, I do hair. Like I always used to do my friends for like every like event. And just
nice.
see them like like when they look themselves in the mirror and they light up, that is just magic.
Yeah, and you've been a part of helping women do that for a long time, and now have gone on your own to create your own line. And I want to get into that, but people should know a little bit more about your background too, and the fact that you've been a buyer, a director for big brands.
Yeah, yeah. So I started at Lord and Taylor in New
Mhm.
York in their executive training program, which I don't know if they still have it, but it was like actually they're gone, aren't they now? Are they just
Gordon
online,
Taylor,
I
yeah,
think?
I
Yeah,
miss that too.
I
The
know.
brick
And
and mortar.
they were like known for like if you were in their executive training program, it was like the executive training program. Like if you got into that, it was like such a big deal. And it was like a boot camp, a retail boot camp. And so like you learned retail math, you had marketing classes, you had like the whole bit. It was amazing. It was the best way to start. Um, and so I did that, and then I met my husband, and he didn't want to move into New York City, and I didn't want to commute anymore from Long Island.
Uh-huh.
So we decided to move to Boston, because May Company, which owned Lord and Taylor, they had Filene's, the upstairs Filene's
Mhm.
store. And so I could transfer within May Company, and he could transfer. He was with Price Waterhouse at the time.
Oh,
And so
okay.
he went with Price Waterhouse. So we had no trouble doing that. He has since, because I wanted to move to New York, he has since been like, oh, we really should have moved to New York. I'm like, don't right now. Like it was like I love New York. I love being in like everything going on. Sometimes people get like overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and for me, it just like lights me up. Like
Well,
I'm
that
just
makes sense. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's
It's
do
like the
this.
hub of everything you do and are, right?
Yes, and it's art and food and just all the things that I love. But we still have family in New York. We're always there, so it's the perfect place here in Rhode Island or Massachusetts. It's like so close, so it's
Yeah.
perfect. But so then I went to Filene's, and not being in New York is a very different experience as a buyer than being in New York. Like, so in New York, I was going to like the DKNY, showroom, and
Right.
seeing, models and fashion and all, and it's so inspiring. And then you're here and you're on the phone, or you're going in once a month to New York, or it's just not the same. And so I kind of got a little antsy, and then went to Filene's Basement,
Hmm.
which they would go into New York once a week. As a buyer, I would go into New York once a week, and you're really kind of wheeling and dealing. Like, it's very entrepreneurial, which
Uh-huh.
appealed to me.
Yeah.
Very much like, oh, what kind of deal can I get? And it was like at the time before there was like, TJ Maxx was as big as it is, and you could really get some amazing deals. Now that business is very much calculated. Like, people cut for TJ Maxx.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
it's different than it used to be.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And it was so cool because you'd be like, I'd be working with Larry Levine, and they'd be like, okay, like we're doing a warehouse clean out. Like, they never do that. It was like, it's been like 10 years. I'm like, oh my God, this is like gold. Like, it was like like that was so much fun. But while I was there, I kept thinking about my own stores.
Mhm.
We'd go on vacation, and I used to say, why are the best stores in vacation places?
Right.
Right? Like, why don't people in normal towns just have cool stores with like cool stuff,
Yes.
And so I
Like,
had opened, yeah, it was, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find the coolest stuff. So I opened my stores in 2001. I was in Bedford, Mass, my first store, and then I went to Newton, I went to Hingham, and I was in Belmont.
and
Also,
what were the names?
it
Names of
was Bella and Bella's Closet.
right.
So I
Okay.
started with Bella, which was this idea of just really cool, funky home and bath and body. And like, I would tell stories, almost like it to me, it was like an anthropology, less quirky, like a little bit more girly.
Okay.
I would have like these displays that would be, not necessarily just one item. It might be a brown and blue story. It would have the PJs and the chocolate, little sign on it. And like, it would tell like a story
Hmm.
um, through the product. And so I love that, but I couldn't stay away from apparel. So I opened Bella's Closet, which was the clothing piece of it.
Got
Because
it.
I can't not. And that was so cool because we were one of the first people to have like a denim bar. It was when denim was hot.
Okay.
So, not that denim's not hot now, but it was
Right.
like kind of like the beginning of that, and so, we had Paige, we had James, we had Citizens of Humanity, AG, like we had really cool brands that are still cool
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And then it was a great mix of basically multiple price points. Like I had Diane von Furstenberg, but then
Mhm.
I also had like $25 shirts or whatever. If it was a great piece,
Yeah.
we would have it. And so it was great because I was able to dress women, get women in the fitting room and throw stuff at them. And,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, let's try this. Let's do this. Stop doing this. No, those pants. The biggest issue I had was women always want to buy jeans that are too big for them
Huh.
because they're like, oh my God, these are too tight. I'm like,
Right.
okay, there's like 2 to 3% lycra in them, they're gonna give. And then they're
Yeah.
gonna fit you perfectly. Like
Right.
if you buy them with a little space in them, they're just gonna look sloppy and
You're right. Because by the end of the day, if you have them on for a while, they're going to loosen up, right?
yes, yes. So like it was just really fun to see like where women's pain points are. And then the pieces that just look universally good on most people. Like, I had standard things that if a woman was really struggling, I'd be like, okay, you want these boot cut pants, you want you want this button down shirt, you want this blazer, you want like, so I found the things that across the board, it was really hard to look bad in.
Mhm.
you know? And
It
like
worked.
wrap dresses and to be quite honest, what I found is sort of the simpler the better. Like the more contrived an item is, the
Yeah.
more difficult it is, to
Right.
look good in. So I had my stores, and then I went to a company called the Paper Store,
Hmm.
which now they have like about gosh, I think like 100 locations on the East Coast. And I started with them before they had fashion. And
Right.
so I went to work with them and to really bring fashion and jewelry into that space, which now it's a really big part of what they do, which is the fashion and jewelry. But again, in focusing on the fashion there, you start to see like how people design clothing, and a lot of times they're not designing it to fit. I
What?
hate,
That
I
sounds
know.
counterintuitive.
Doesn't that sound crazy? Well, so it really depends on the market that they're catering to, number one. So sometimes you'll see a great item, but maybe it's geared towards a younger customer and it's a little bit too short or it's too,
Right.
but I also feel like a lot of times people design, it's a little self-indulgent. You have the designer is usually trying to create something interesting, or, oh, the blazer's been done before, I'm going to do this,
Got it.
side zip jacket thing, and it's like, okay, that's really cool, but you've now really limited who
Right.
that's gonna sell to. So it's very rare that somebody can do both sides, can
Mhm.
understand sort of the design piece of it, but then understand sort of the metrics and the importance of like, it's great, but you have to sell it. So when I had a store, I used to say I wanted a store and not a museum, right? I wanted just stuff that looks good. I
Yes.
want to sell.
Hmm.
And so understanding that side of it for so long, I think really made me realize the potential to focus on products that people really just want to wear, the
Right.
stuff that women want to put on. Um,
Hmm.
it shouldn't be an Easter egg hunt to find,
True.
a simple, great black dress that doesn't have cutouts on the side and this and when I like put my arm through 8 holes before I got
Right.
my head, like
Which it is pretty off the shoulder stuff, one shoulder, cold shoulder, whatever it happens to be. You know, they have their place, right?
they do.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the thing. It's like, they're gonna be in my closet.
Right.
I've got like one or two of them. But like your workhorses, your meat and
Yes.
potatoes pieces,
Yeah.
it's gonna be very rare that's going to be it. And I feel like in 2017, which is when they first came up with this concept for Good Robe and Co., fast fashion was really like ramping up. You had Stitch Fix, and it was all about like a really fun, cool outfit, right? We're going
Yeah.
to send you this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was more about like personality, I
Yeah.
think, and like outfits versus staples, and really creating what I call an intentional closet, or a foundation wardrobe that you can keep using those pieces. It was almost like, okay, this, okay, now we're gonna get rid of that, we're gonna buy this,
Which can get
and
expensive too, right?
expensive, time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's like the more you have, the less you know what to wear.
That's so true, because you could have, and I think I heard you say this somewhere, like a closet full of stuff but nothing to wear, right?
Nothing to wear. We all stand there and we go, oh,
I
what
have
am I gonna
nothing.
wear? And we're all like, we all, our weights fluctuate. So you've got like
Yeah.
jeans in 8 different sizes, and you're like, where's the one I can fit right now? Torture.
Yeah. So 2017, you kind of, this is an idea that's kind of brewing in your mind. And
Yep.
where did
And I
you go
left
from
the
there?
paper store without a job. I was like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I feel like I've sort of taken the retail side of it, as far as I wanted to go.
Mhm.
So I start all of a sudden this idea for Good Robe came to me, and it really, it really was sort of like what Stitch Fix is doing wrong. Like, I
Okay.
don't know,
Yeah.
like a terrible critic, like the old men in the Muppet Show, like the hecklers on the side, going,
What a great analogy. That's perfect.
no, don't do that. Like, so like what I saw as an issue is that, they're buying the inventory from a third person. They're not creating it
Right.
themselves. And so what happens is that then you have inventory. And as a retailer, you have inventory, you have to move that inventory. So whether or not those pants are a good fit for you, Kim, I need to get rid of them.
Right. Right.
So they're going to end up in people's boxes,
I see what you're
and
saying. They just, I never thought about that because I got Stitch Fix before, and like some things come down, I'm like, what are you thinking? You're supposed to be my stylist. You're not getting me. So
they're like,
that's
I got all these jeans. Kim, take a pair.
that
Like,
is
I
why
gotta get
that's
rid of those.
happening.
And so that's why a lot of people will say they started Stitch Fix and
Mhm.
they liked it the first 2 boxes, because it's sort of like the bait and switch. It's like going on a date with a narcissist. Like, you're
Right.
like, oh, they love me. They think I'm great. And then like the other side comes out after, box 2,
So
and it's
true. Like, wait a second, I've kept the same stylist. Why did she not get me this time? Wow. You just like lifted up the curtain there.
I did. I did. And so I saw that from back then. I'm like, what are they gonna do with all this inventory? Like, they're gonna have to, whether that shirt that fits terribly, like, what are they gonna do? Just go, oh yeah, it doesn't look good on anybody. So I guess we'll just eat that style, the thousands that we bought. So for me, I was like, but here's the thing, I'm a data person.
Mhm.
So for me, I'm like, you've got all these customers that are giving you feedback, right? Because you know what works, you know what
Mhm.
doesn't work. Wouldn't it be great if you had the products and then you tweak them based on the feedback, and so that you're evolving the collection to really work for women? And
Mhm.
on top of that, you have the built-in margin because you're going direct to consumer, so they're not overspending. And then you can offer them the right price. And then let's not just do a box that comes every month. Because to me, no matter how much you like something, after like 4 months, you're like, okay, okay. Like, let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
let me just acclimate this. And I know you can choose, how many you have. So I came up with this idea of like capsules, and that seasonally we would introduce different capsules. And if people want to buy a capsule, they can buy a preset capsule, which is 6 pieces. So they do get a deal.
Mhm.
They get 25% off if they do the capsule. And so they can either choose to put one together, buy a preset one, and then we will learn from that. Okay, like, I know the girlfriend shirt is a home run. Like, people love our girlfriend shirt. If I had it in 100 different fabrics, we would sell a ton. And I went crazy designing that. Like,
Mhm.
I'm that person. Like, for me, the whole thing was I wanted the fit,
Right.
because as great as something looks, if it doesn't fit right,
Mhm.
it's a problem. So it was the fit, which kind of goes hand in hand with it being flattering. Like,
Right.
what can I do to this garment to make it even more flattering? And then you want it to be affordable, which comes that direct to consumer piece, but you're getting a great value because the quality is there, but the price isn't there.
Mhm.
And then also, okay, you love that girlfriend shirt. When you come back next season, it's going to be here and it's going to be here in another color instead of it disappearing and you being like, don't
Yeah.
you hate that?
Yeah,
When
it's
you
never to be
that,
found because clearly we all do this, right? You love something, you're gonna want it in 3, 4 different colors, right?
and then you go back and you're like, wait, what happened? Like, I don't know. I was raised on Gap. They had the same damn pair of pants and they bring it back season after season. I knew my size. I would buy it in different colors, different
Mhm.
lengths, and call it a day. And I miss that. And it's an important resource. So it's like, I did the wrap dress. So
Mhm.
instead of just doing like a standard wrap dress, which in and of itself is a very flattering
Right.
style,
Mhm.
because it crosses in and brings your eye. It's sort of like a trick of the eye. It brings you to a woman's smallest part, which is her waist.
Mhm.
And then it's open here. Open necks tend to be just a little bit more flattering. But
Right.
then what I did is I added a little ruffle to extend. So it's like a short sleeve, but instead of just being a short sleeve, I extended it with a little ruffle
Mhm.
on the sleeve to sort of cover just in case. Now, if you don't have that thing on your back of your arm, God bless you. Good for you. And it doesn't hurt the style.
Right.
But if you do have that, it's just extended enough. Because I used to hate when it was a short sleeve shirt. And if I didn't feel like my arms looked great, it would cut me in the wrong place. So I extended it just enough
Right.
to cover that part, but to still be. And when you have a ruffle on the end of anything, it makes the top look smaller
Uh-huh.
because you're seeing this and then anything up here looks tinier.
Yeah.
So, which is why a boot cut does really well because you've got a wider bottom and so your legs look slimmer.
Right. Yeah.
It's using those visuals. Like, think about it this way. I mean, all women have hips, which is great. Love
Mhm.
my hips, but sometimes I don't necessarily want to accentuate how great my hips are. Um, think about a peg leg pant.
Mhm. Mhm.
All it's going to do is if your hips are already
Yeah.
it's just gonna you're gonna be like, ooh, okay, like you just made your hips look bigger, which is great. Some women need that, but so I took all these tricks and tried to put them into each of the pieces.
I love hearing all of these things that I think that we can all learn from. I mean, just the little tricks that you're talking about the ways that they're the cut on things and what it can do to your body.
Yeah.
Because you might not know. It's the same thing with bras. Like we probably all wear this the wrong bra for so many years, and you have somebody who kind of schools you on the right way for it to fit you. Then you're
Yes.
like, oh wow,
Oh,
okay.
this is how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Yeah.
different body types and the things that you can do because we all have that thing about our body that we don't like. And there are ways that you can dress to either accentuate the thing you do like or kind of take the eye away from the thing you don't, right?
Exactly. And you know what the problem becomes is that there's always people, and I really try not to do this when I talk about the things I love. I try not to do do's and don'ts so much,
Yeah.
or this isn't allowed. But there's so much, especially with trends, we get these trends that are pushed at us.
Mm,
And I think we feel like in some ways we have to be representing all the trends. And, about 10 years ago, I threw every single trend in the garbage. That doesn't mean I don't buy something that's trendy,
right.
but if it's not my jam and it doesn't do it for me, I don't care how hot it is.
I agree.
Mary Janes, you can keep them.
Oh,
I'm
I saw
I'm
that.
50, 3. Like, and you know what? For me, I don't like where it cuts my foot. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
But there are some people who rock the Mary Jane, who rock the Mary Jane flat. I don't even wear flats. It's very rarely do I, but that's just me.
Right.
And I think the key to being, successful when you're building your wardrobe is know who you are
Right.
and stop chasing what other people say is right or wrong. And I hate that.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, like it bothers me because I'm like, you know what? I hate overalls. I think I say this all the time. I hate overalls. I think because I'm 4'10", they like it makes me feel like look even more, and
Yeah.
I honestly have yet to see. overalls do something good for a woman. Like, you know,
I think
where
they're
she,
just fun, you know. I haven't
yeah,
worn them in a while. I used to be really into them back in the day, but yeah.
but that's the thing. It's like maybe it accentuates your personality.
Yeah,
Maybe you wear it in such a way. And so I'm never going to say, you know, women over this age shouldn't wear overalls. Listen, if
right, right.
overalls are your, and it also depends on what they're made of. Linen overalls are adorable. They're not like
Mhm.
sometimes the denim overalls that I have an issue with, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't you can't like blanket statement. And then, you know, what happens is some poor woman, you know, is watching something and they say, you know, oh, flannels aren't in. And this poor woman is like living in New England, loves her little flannels and a little sweater. And I feel like they all have a place and it's, you know, and they're like, oh, I guess I can't wear them.
Right.
No, what do you want to do?
Let's talk about your capsules a little bit. When you have those, like you said, they come out seasonally, and
Yes,
they could pretty much set you up for a lot of. There's 6 pieces, but I think I saw you say somewhere that this is like a month worth of
it
outfits.
is. It is.
Yeah,
The 6 pieces, like we put it together in such a way. So it really is like a great wardrobe foundation. Which is why we usually do I do the discount because I'm sort of like, you really should do it this way. Because you're going to be more successful with it. So it's 6 core pieces. It's really the 6 pieces. Like the line has 14 pieces,
Mhm.
the total line. But these are the 6 pieces that I really feel are the must-haves in everybody's closet that mix and match. And so we created it from the beginning to mix and match, which is different than what a lot of people do. They'll have the pants, they'll have a blazer, they'll have, and they don't necessarily design it to go together.
Mhm.
Um, so the blazer is like my number one piece, that I feel like everybody should have a blazer.
Mhm.
And the feedback I get on ours. So when I was designing this was during COVID. And I'm like, and everybody was in pajamas all day. And I
Right.
said, he's gonna put on a blazer again. That's uncomfortable. So, so you can get blazers range, right? You can get a double breasted, you can get a single breasted, and the fabrication makes such a difference. So my fabrication is all the pieces in my collection are evergreen, meaning you can wear them all year long. They're not wool, they're not linen, they're not, you know, so they're a rayon blend that drapes so nicely, but it's also like super comfortable. And so that was important for me that you could be just as comfortable as you are in your pajamas, but elevate, you know, your look
Yeah.
a little bit. So, you know, you've got the blazer, you've got the button down, you've got the booty cut pant. I call it the booty cut because it's great on your butt, but it's also got the boot cut. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I love it.
cute. So you can do either the long, the full length, or the crop. You know, some people say, oh, the crop's great for spring. Yeah, it is, but I wear it all year. I wear the crop with like a little booty, and I think it's super cute all year. And then we have the cami, which I call the two cami Sammy. If you don't have one of these sort of camisoles, you need, like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you have one, you just end up wearing it
Right.
all the time. And
Uh-huh.
mine is called two cami because it's reversible front to back.
I love that.
So the front has like a lace placket, and then
Yeah.
when you turn it, it's just a scoop neck. So depending on how you like how you want to wear it.
Yeah.
And then a skirt, of course. So like the skirt, the blazer, and the pant are all the same fabrication. So you can wear it together suited, or I tend to wear mine more separately. I'll wear my skirt with a sweater, I'll wear my blazer with jeans, I'll, you know, like I mix and match. But if I need a suit and I need to be put together, then I can put those two components together. And then it's the dress. The dress, so depending on which capsule you do, I have 2 dresses. I have the wrap star, which we talked about, which is that
Right.
wrap, the like everybody looks great in. And then I did this one that like people love it. It's called the shapeshifter. And because it's a shift dress,
Mhm.
simple shift, like an A line, which A lines are very forgiving. And so if you wear it by itself, you could wear that to like a wedding. You could, it's, you know, it's just very simple. You can wear it with just the blazer and the dress, but it also becomes a jumper when you put the button down under it.
Nice. Yeah.
It's that's how I tend to
Yeah,
wear it. I
yeah, for
love it as
sure.
a jumper. So yeah, so those are the pieces. And the idea is that once you have these, if you just took those 6 pieces and mixed and matched them, you'd have 30 days worth of clothing.
Amazing.
But when you mix it with everything else in your closet, obviously you get a lot more.
Of
And they're
course.
pieces that you can wear all year long, because the fabrication isn't specific to a season. It's not seasonal. And they're pieces that, in 10 years, blazers are still going to be, button downs,
Yeah.
blazers, like they're classic pieces that you're not going to look at next year and go, oh, wow, what was I thinking when I bought that?
Right. So people can go to your website to see everything that you have, what's in the capsules and how to
Absolutely. Yeah,
connect
you
with
can
you.
kind of explore. You can see the preset capsules. You can buy by item, or you can create your own capsule. You still get the discount if you do the 6 pieces and you like put them together yourself. Super easy. And our website is goodrobeandco.com. And that's basically what we are everywhere, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. Everything is Good Robe and Co.
Great. It was such a pleasure chatting with you again, getting to
Too.
know you and your background, and I wish you all the success. This is really amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's just a culmination of so many years of work in this industry, and here you are now just creating your own thing. It's got to feel really, really good.
It does. And I feel like I was scared for so long to kind of break out on my own, and so now it's, you just have to change your mindset. And I think 2020 for a lot of us, kind of, you went, okay, it's now or never. Like, you don't know what tomorrow may bring, so go for it.
I love that. Thank you. I'm getting a little teared up just talking
Aw.
about the culmination for you. But yeah, I get really inspired by amazing women that I have on here. Thank you. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Such a
Thank you.
pleasure chatting with you. Were you watching the clock tick down here too? Can you see that?